The Little Mermaid. Long ago, deep under the sea, there lived a little mermaid. She had bright red hair, a shiny green tail, and a curious heart full of dreams. She was the youngest daughter of the Sea King. Every day, the little mermaid looked up toward the surface of the sea. She dreamed of the sky, the land, and the world of humans. More than anything, she wished to visit the world above the sea. One night, a great ship sailed across the water. On the deck stood a handsome young prince, smiling as he looked out at the stars. The little mermaid watched him from the waves, and her heart filled with wonder. But suddenly, dark clouds rolled in. A terrible storm shook the sea. The wind howled, the waves crashed, and the ship broke into pieces. The prince was thrown into the water. At once, the little mermaid swam to him as fast as she could. She caught him before he could sink, and carried him safely to the shore. There, she laid him gently on the sand and sang softly beside him. Soon, the prince opened his eyes. But just then, a young princess from a nearby palace came walking along the shore. The prince saw her first and believed she was the one who had saved him. The little mermaid hid quietly and watched from a distance. Her heart ached, but she could not forget the prince. She longed to live on land and be near him. So she swam to the sea witch and begged for help. The sea witch gave her a magic drink. But there is a price, said the witch. You must give me your beautiful voice. The little mermaid loved her voice, but she loved the prince even more. So she agreed. The sea witch warned her. When you drink this potion, your tail will turn into human legs. But if the prince does not truly love you and marries someone else, you will turn into sea foam at sunrise. Even so, the little mermaid drank the potion. At once, her tail disappeared and became 2 human legs. She had become a human girl. Soon, she arrived at the prince's castle wearing a lovely dress. The prince welcomed her kindly. He did not know who she was, but he liked her gentle smile and graceful dancing. The little mermaid was happy to stay near him. She wanted so badly to tell him the truth, that she was the one who had saved his life. But she had no voice. She could only smile and hope. Day by day, the little mermaid's love for the prince grew deeper. But the prince still believed that the other princess had saved him. In time, he came to love her. One day, he said, "She is the one who saved me. I will marry her." The little mermaid's heart broke in silence. Soon, the wedding bells rang. The prince married the princess, and the little mermaid stood by the sea with tears in her eyes. Then the sun began to rise. As the first golden light touched the waves, the little mermaid's body slowly turned into sea foam. She did not cry out. She simply faded into the morning sea. But her love was so pure and brave that her spirit rose into the sky like soft white light. And so, the little mermaid gave up everything for love. Her story reminds us that true love is brave, gentle, and full of sacrifice. And sometimes, true love also means letting go.